Hello. My name is Kevin. We are Dirty 20 Gaming, and tonight is Sunday, so it is time for Timely Interventions, our time traveling detective story where they go back into history and find out what really happened. As you have probably noticed, one of our adventurers is not here this evening, so best wishes from all to Saber, and we'll see you next week. We may very well see them in chat tonight, too. So, with that, I got to dot my I's and cross my T's. That was the important stuff. Now I got to do the technical stuff. Tonight, like I said, we are playing Timely Interventions. The game system we're using is actually mine, and it's called Balance, and it is designed to be ludicrously simple. So if that appeals to you, just go to our Discord and get a hold of me, and I will send you both pages of the rules. And that's only 2 pages because it's in big text. So there is the link to Discord. But from that, the imagery in my background, the imagery around us on the overlay, all that stuff in the intro, that all came from Pixabay. The high-def character art for 2 of our characters is done using Hero Forge, and the third piece was done by one of the players themselves. So credit where credit is due all around. So this week, we are going to start by what we always do, going around the table real quick here, introducing who you guys are and what else, if anything, you're doing. Let's start with Villa Villas.
Hi, I'm Villa Villas. If you're interested, you can catch me on Twitch at Villa Villas. I am currently running through a Shadow Hearts playthrough. So if you're interested in old PS2 games, or if you played Shadow Hearts and want to kind of relive it vicariously, please head over there and join me as I continue my playthrough. And I've kind of tried to have my background represent our adventures. Not sure if it's going to work that way, but I gave it my best shot.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Playing Benjamin for us tonight, Schmeidemeister. I said it once, now I don't have to say it again. Nick, you've got some stuff on the go as well. Not all of it streamed, but what are you doing?
Well, right now trying to get a campaign started, which I'm expecting to have like first session in something like 2 weeks.
Excellent.
I'm excited for and going to tell everybody. Extremely nervous, but I'm sure everybody's going to tell me it will be fine.
First time GMing?
It would be, or will be.
Yeah, it will be fine. It's not difficult. Even I can do it. I mean, really. Oh, and that is a bunch of people that are all members of our Discord and also met on another Discord originally over at Mercs of Mischief.
It is, which makes it very hard to talk about things, because then I know everybody's listening.
Everybody that's listening is your friend, man. Oh, thank you very much for the information there in chat. That should fix that slightly. Thank you. You guys were a little quiet, so I hope I fixed that. I turned you guys up and me down, so hopefully that works. And that leaves us with Asher Pond being played by Tails. What else are you doing in the world?
I am a teacher, so I'm busy with little ones in the world. Keeps me very busy. I teach music and French and all sorts of good stuff. And I also have a podcast called Tiny Fences, which is a Joss Whedon podcast, Buffy the Vampire Slayers, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's what I do.
Awesome. Excellent. So if you want to contact any of these people, again, go to that Discord. You can message us all there. And it's a very friendly Discord. You should join. So that's all the technicals and all the good stuff out of the way. Let's get into this. It's been 2 weeks since you walked out of the office with enough money to buy a small car. In that 2 weeks, you've had time to think about possibly what you saw and what happened and how you may or may not have changed history. While you were processing that information, what did you do? Let's start with Edward.
Well, Edward, he loved his adventure. He's very tired of the same drab kind of stuff going on in the world, and the reason why he sought this out is to seek adventure. And he, upon hearing that we might be dealing with King Midas, went out and used some of the money that he had to go and peruse as much information as he could about King Midas. Not entirely sure if it's all truthful, but he's gonna do. He's very excited, and he definitely dressed a little more, not as upscale as he usually does.
Okay, excellent. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to fix a sound thing here. I'm still not quite as loud as I want to be. But while I do that, Benjamin, what did our neighborhood blacksmith do?
Well, definitely having, well, I mean, a little more than pocket change this time. So it's kind of the question of, does he go back home, or while definitely being in the city, he's going to take the opportunity to kind of look at what he can find in libraries, particularly about kind of metallurgy stuff that he may not necessarily have access to so much at home. So I mean, there's probably a little bit of information or like different weapons that he hasn't necessarily heard of, but might have a bit of time later, possibly in the next, well, after this particular venture, to kind of play with just a little bit. So it's more looking for information and figuring out what to do.
Okay. So with that, that leaves us with Asher Pond. What did our dapper smoocher of outlaws do, given 2 weeks back in modern, well, even slightly in the future, West Coast, Wet Coast, Vancouver?
I never stopped moving. So I went and I started studying all about King Midas, but didn't get very far before I was like, I should order some fan art on actually what Robin Hood looks like, so I can put it up on my wall. And then I went and got myself a new bathrobe and was like, looks kind of like a toga. I'm ready to go with that, and got a haircut. And then I went and bought some really nice like gaming chairs so we can replace the lawn chairs. And it's like, I'll bring those on in, and like just been really busy. And all the while, my brain though, like I've been doing these superficial things, but I've been really thinking about this time travel and just like staying up at night thinking about more serious things, like how are we changing time, and are we making a difference? And also I wonder if this could help me with some of the questions I've had of my past. I wonder if I could, ask the owner of this time machine if I could use it myself. So I've been definitely thinking a lot and nonstop moving for the last 2 weeks.
Perfect. And yes, chat also wants to see Robin Hood fan art. I'm thinking there might also be some Robin Hood fan fiction coming. But
sounds good to me.
But with that, 2 weeks have passed and you return to the offices. You got an email that says another mission if you're interested. The three of you arrive, and first thing you notice is the Tholo is not here this time. But the three of you are, and you have the chairs brought up the stairs and placed in the room. And the screen the hollow box is still there. And once the three of you walk in and sit down, it starts its process of the skull, that golden rose gold skull rising up, or not a skull, it's a face, a hollow statue, rises up out of the base. And you hear the voice again. Thank you for returning. I understand you are interested in exploring King Midas and his kingdom?
Yes.
Sounds good if that's where we're being asked to go.
Asher, a certain amount of information has been downloaded into your glasses.
Oh. All right.
Benjamin? Yeah. There was something you were going to say, Benjamin. I cut you off.
No, he's kind of looking over at Asher, gently shaking his head a little bit.
Oh, you like my bathrobe? Should have gotten you one too, Benjamin. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. I got you a chair though. I got you a chair, but I got really good information on Midas in my glasses. But narrator, am I going to be able to use these? Last time I couldn't use my glasses.
Last time you couldn't use them because this is a hard a software download. You are not attempting to connect to something this time. Because you can't, Wi-Fi doesn't work across centuries. I mean, that's just, that would be sick. But you have downloaded into the memory of the glasses a certain amount of information about Midas.
Oh, Benjamin
Almost
and Edward, this is gonna be useful.
almost all of which, as you're clicking through the pages, you realize is probable, might, may, possibly mythical. Just there's no hard information in this pack.
All right, Edward and Benjamin, doesn't look like we know much of anything. I know a lot of things, but at the same time, nothing. This is gonna be good.
So you're a philosopher then. Good to know.
Hey,
As I look over to
one of us has a
as I
degree in
look over to
philosophy and
Asher-
English.
As I look over to Asher,
Yeah.
look at his bathrobe. I guess that we're also going to have time period appropriate clothes lent to us this time as well, correct?
As always, yes. The time apparent accurate materials will be there, with, of course, the extra added toughness of modern fibers. We will remind you, please do not leave them in the past. They would be quite an anachronism if discovered.
Narrator, is our payment the same as last time? That was quite hefty. That was a good amount of money.
In this instance, it perhaps may be even more, depending on the
Can you-
information gleaned.
Can you talk to your boss? Would it be possible for me to have a free ride in the, or not free, as payment instead of money? Can I take the time machine out for to a specific date and time instead of payment?
I will have to contact our employer to check that, but for the moment, when you return, I will have an answer.
Thank you so much, narrator.
If you have no other questions, the changing room awaits as usual.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of excited to go.
Mm-hmm.
And Edward will go and head to the changing station.
Yep. What you find there is it's not togas. It does not look anything remotely like Asher's bathroom, unfortunately.
Oh, dang. So comfy.
This is like the place that you're going is on the the east end of the Mediterranean Ocean, Sea. So it is right on the equator. It is stupid hot here. And because of that, they wear very voluminous, pale colors, mostly linen. So that's what this appears to be. And it moves like linen, but as you kind of pull on it, it doesn't have that give and that rippiness of real linen. But it does breathe. In fact, in this environment, especially looking out the window at the pouring rain running down the side of the 200-story building, it's a little chilly in here.
As we're getting changed, you hear Edward, "Oh, this is so much more comfortable than tights."
Doesn't show off as much though, as Asher like throws off the bathrobe and is just like standing there in all his glory and choosing the most revealing linens.
And as always, the door at the end of the room awaits. Through this lies the most boring time-traveling machine in the history of time-traveling machines. It's just a little room. You step in. In this instance, before you go, I will point out there were no weapons in this room. There were nothing provided for you this time. If you wish, this is something if you think your characters might have showed up with a weapon, you can try and take it with you, although you're not supposed to take stuff into the past or bring stuff back, but we don't know how hard that rule applies yet. Nobody's tried.
Okay, probably
I've got-
Midas, you definitely make sure to leave the hammer behind.
Okay.
As much as he very much likes his forging hammer.
That makes perfect sense to me.
I'm planning on bringing back another lock of hair from some lover I find. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Absolutely.
And maybe something golden, like I don't know, random fork.
Just be too careful with your lovin'. You don't want to leave anything behind.
So maybe
Yeah.
no loving with Midas might turn certain
Is
bits
it-
to gold.
Is it well that, and is it inbred if you were your own ancestor but 49 generations ago? Does that
Ooh, good question.
That's a loop we're going to play with in episode 6. But for now, you guys step into that time traveling room. That door closes. The other door awaits you. Who's opening it? Look at the
Asher
fear.
sees
Look
that
at the
they're not going.
fear.
Asher being timid on the door this time. He's not gonna bust out.
Oh, I'm busting out. I wait a second to see if Edward or Benjamin want to go first this time. I'm trying to be a gentleman.
Yeah.
Okay, and, throw it on open.
So you step forward and
what do I
grab
see?
that door handle. As you step in front of these other two, you did mention that you chose the briefest of the linens.
Oh yeah.
Now they're full length, but yours are the only linens that well, they're acting like a bra for your butt. They are lifting and separating. You pick some snuggins, and everybody else's are very loose. So you're going to stand out. You did go on to, you made quite a point about being. So tell me if I'm wrong, but that's how I see this.
Oh, that sounds about right. So I open the door and then do like a little shimmy in my little short shorts.
You see that, Benjamin? That's a man that doesn't skip leg day.
That's right.
And I imagine he now adds a bit of a sachet as he walks out the door.
Oh yeah.
The second you open the door, the room is flooded with bright light, like just howling equatorial sunlight. You can almost hear it. It almost makes your ears scream. It's so bright. And you squint your eyes, and as you do, the smell hits you. Limes and the sea. And as you look out the door, you see you're in an orchard. And it's all lime trees, and they're very stunted. They're only sort of 8 to 10 feet tall. It's late in the summer, so the leaves are starting to die on the branches, and these bright green limes they're everywhere around you.
Asher's hair shimmers in the breeze, and he's thinking about how he should have brought some gin to go with all these limes.
As you look around, you see workers in the fields. In fact, a number of them are singing while they're picking. And you realize why they've.
Are they shirtless? Because this is important information.
No, you'd get sunburned really, really bad if you were shirtless in this environment. But you realize now why the trees are so short. They don't need ladders. The tree is only 9 feet tall, so they can reach up and grab even the highest hanging fruit.
Edward, Benjamin, perfectly safe. Lots of limes, lots of bright sun. Should have brought some sunglasses. Come on out.
Edward will go and walk through.
Does he know what it means to blend in?
Asher definitely hears Benjamin saying it under his voice, like, blend in. Does a little twerk with the short shorts.
It takes you a couple of seconds for your eyes to adjust to this sun. But then it immediately grabs your attention. Through the branches of the stunted little trees, you can see a hill in the distance. And on the top of that hill is a city of gold. Everything shimmers, and it's all various golden colors. In the center of the city, at its highest point, stands an ornate complex of towers, each of a different height, a different diameter, and a different shade of gold, ranging from nearly silver to that deepest, most lustrous gold. That color that causes people to make bad decisions and do dangerous things. This, you know, is Ankara, the capital city of the kingdom of Phrygia and home of King Midas.
Hey,
you
Edward,
can see
Benjamin,
even
so
at this distance, the doors are open. These huge gates. Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's okay. I'm done. What do you guys do?
I tell them, hey, this is Phrygia. The glasses are saying not Greece. So a couple books I read were wrong. Phrygia. Got it. Phrygia. That's gold.
And just to point that out, you are the only person in 2,000 years to be wearing glasses. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll see if anyone notices this time.
Yeah. So the three of you see this. There are the farmers around you drawing the limes. There are the city in the distance, well, near distance. What would you like to do?
Better we go to the city?
First
let's
thing
go to the city.
we're probably gonna do is just kind of see if there's like rocks or something, kind of make sure the door is marked or something.
Oh yeah,
Very
it's
good. Thank
invisible.
you. It would be terrible if you'd gotten stranded in history on the second episode.
Asher throws his arm around Benjamin and go, "What would we do without you? I'd never go home. That's what."
And Benjamin, you make the tiny Inukshuk, and you guys head towards the city. As you get closer, the scale, it's one of those things, like, as you get closer, it just gets bigger, and it's just, the grandeur is overwhelming. The gates stand open. The walls are 20 meters tall, 20 yards for our American friends. 20 meters tall. The door is 15 meters tall and a full meter thick. Everything here, the dark wood, the intense carving, the blocks, these monolithic blocks that this wall is made out of, they are sandstone, but there's so much mica in them that they sparkle. Everything helps convey this sense of grandeur and power. The buildings you can see through the gate, it's clearly a public area. They are huge, and each one of them is festooned with gold leaf, gold fittings, gold door handles, gold window frames, and even gold chimneys. All the ranges of gold colors are here as well, all the way from that silver to the deepest gold, although there's very little of that down here. That seems to be at the top of the hill on that tower. All that glittering as you look into this central area is offset with greens and reds, and it's very carefully cultivated rose bushes in rows. And they're the only color other than all this endless gold. Even the sand is sandstone, so it's that sort of color.
Asher,
Yes, sir.
do you happen to know through any information why we're here?
Well, we were told by the narrator we gotta try to figure out Midas and see what is actually true about him. But as for what's in my glasses, let me see. Let me scroll through here. What do I see?
What is it you're looking for?
Why are we here?
Oh, you are to, exactly as you said, find out what your same job as you always have. Find out what really happened, or in this case, was King Midas real? Or more accurately, what was King Midas that made the myth of rap come up around him? Because pretty obviously, the stuff he touched doesn't turn to gold. Hold up, Mike.
We'll figure that out.
You never know.
Here's the page. Here's the page, Benjamin. Yeah, it just says that we got to find Midas, figure out who he is, figure out what he's up to, and yeah, like, did he turn things to gold? I mean, if you look around, did anyone else notice this is all different shades of gold? I mean, if Midas touched all this stuff, then maybe you can make different shades of gold depending on, maybe if he holds it longer, it turns darker colors, and he puts it like more softly, then it's a lighter gold. Just gotta go find this guy.
As we kind of look around and look at the roses, it's kind of like, hey, did you guys read anything about him turning rose bushes to gold?
I read something about his turning his daughter to gold.
Yeah. I think I
roses.
remember something about him having the ears of an ass, too.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the rose bushes as you look at them. As you step close and look around, they're as close to identical as a very talented gardener can make them. They're not, in the scientific mind, they're not clones of each other, but someone has gone to great lengths to make every one of these rose bushes look the same. And what they are is an almost perfect sphere with 5 chains. It looks like they've woven the vines. So there's 5 chains of 12 roses. So there's 60 red roses on every one of these green balls of rose bush. And they are given respect as though they were people. As you look into this area, people are milling about. There's everywhere you look in this area, people are doing business. They're selling each other stuff out of their coats. There's some carts set up here and there. There are real businesses set up in some of the buildings. Just business, business, business everywhere you look. Slavery is also apparent. Okay, go.
So just seeing all these businesses, I'm like, wait a minute. Do any of you have money? We forgot to ask the narrator about money, and I'm not wearing anything. I got my little short shorts going, and I don't even know where I'd hold money. Do you have money?
Edward will kind of give himself a pat down, see if he has anything there.
Nope, not this time.
Nope.
Oops.
But at the mention of that, one of the vendors near you says, "You need coins?"
Yes, good sir. I
The
need
gla-
some coins.
The glasses ping. They have
Ping, ping.
information. You kind of, I mean, you don't physically, but that's the image we're using. You tap that, and there's a note here that coinage appears to have been introduced in this city at this time. So this person may be offering to get you some of the first coins that ever existed in the world.
Dudes, this guy invented coins. Let's get a coin and take it home. Maybe we can make it gold, and it'll be a gold Midas touched coin.
If the coins themselves are gold, you should probably at least go get some. If he's
I want some of this.
I turn to the guy. He's like, money, huh? I've heard that that was being used here. How can we get some?
You give me things of value, and I give you the money, the coins, the queen's coins, as they are called.
I'll be right back. And Asher runs to the field and grabs some limes,
Edward?
comes back with a handful. Limes for coins?
Okay, so you run off to do that.
said
The other two
queen,
have
right?
got, yeah, what are
Yeah.
you doing? Yeah. Benjamin, what are you doing?
the queen.
Asher goes, hang on a second. Out the doors.
Yep.
That's all you see. Yeah.
I'm gonna ask kind of asking Edward if he knows anything about the queen's coins specifically, because I would think if we're in kind of if King Midas were in charge, why it might be that the queen would be the one involved with currency.
Do you ask him out loud? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and answer.
Out loud.
Yeah.
I kind of go and well, I heard the same legend that it was his wife that was involved with making the coins, but I don't know much more than that. I guess if we explore so much, we might find out and see if that's actually true.
Okay, some more mystery to it.
I turn back to the guy. I mean, I don't have anything of value on me, but is there anything I could help you with that might earn myself a coin or two?
There is a thing. You see that cart over there? And he points to one of a row of nearly identical market carts selling limes. And he's pointing specifically to like the third one from the end.
Okay.
If someone was to tip over that cart and ruin that man's limes, that someone would be good for, shall we say, a 50?
A 50, huh? Huh. Okay. All right.
Accidents happen frequently, don't they?
How far away is this cart from us?
I mean, this is a large central area. It's, it's far enough away that nobody's going to, nobody's going to connect him and it when it happens. But yeah, it's
at this time.
this is a
Asher
big common
comes,
area. Yeah, you
Asher
come
comes
barreling
running
back in.
with all the limes, and I accidentally bumped the cart he once knocked over, but didn't knock it over. So, sorry about that. Sorry, and keep going. The cart's fine, but just like bump it, and then have all my limes. Like, hey, I got some limes.
You come up with this armful of limes. You've seen this look before. This is the look when somebody thinks you're not quite right. You're just like, here, have some limes. You are surrounded by carts selling limes. That is the lifeblood of this central market, and you've got a bunch of bruised fresh ones. He looks at you and he just sort of shows you a place to put them down. And he says, here, a 30 for your troubles. And he hands you a small silver, it's quite silver. There's a bit of gold in it, but it's quite silver. And he says, have you seen Electrum before?
Never. This is pretty. Whose face is that on there?
I'll let you retcon that because it's not a face, it's a symbol.
What
that you
symbol
don't
is that
recognize.
on there?
That is our number for 30. It guarantees that that piece is at least 30% gold. Electrum, you see, a mixture of gold and silver, difficult to separate, expensive. Like between the
Asher
king and
bites it,
queen.
because he's seen that on TV.
And it's done because it's 70% silver and only 30% gold.
30%?
There is zero give. Yeah. It's actually a really weird material because not only is it gold and silver, silver has this interesting magnetic property where if you put a magnet on silver, it slides very slowly down and falls off. It's really cool. Anyway, so yes, this is it is guaranteed to be at least 30%. There are, and he pulls out a handful and he shows he's pulling like it's change to him, right? Those are 30s, there are 40s, 50s, 55s, and 60s. And he shows you this range of coins. They're all exactly the same size. They get darker gold as they go along, and they've each got a mark on them that you can now see must be numbers.
Yeah. As he's kind of going over there, Edward's going to kind of go and walk over towards the cart, give it a look over. This is probably a very rudimentary made cart.
Oh yeah, this is somebody hauled this in by hand. Yeah, this is not an ox cart. This is a people cart. Yeah,
and it's loaded up with limes, so it has some weight on it.
Yes.
Edward is spent a lot of years in college for medical school.
Yep.
Would you be able to make a reasoning roll to find out an easy way to break this cart?
Absolutely, I love it. Yeah, give me a reason. And at that same time, Benjamin, what are you doing?
Kind of when he's looking at the cart, I'm realizing there has to be, well, I mean, likely is a piece connecting the wheel to the axle, right?
Yes.
So if that were happened to be looser than it probably should be, and the cart were to try to move.
Yep.
Or at least half of one side.
Yep.
Between
the two of you, you can you sort of nudging each other and you figure out that there is a place where if you were to, well, you can use the yoke as leverage, like to where he carried it in. You can use that as leverage. So if one of you were to like put your foot against a wheel to prevent it from moving, and the other person just sort of lifted, it would certainly do the trick.
Asher's
or you can,
coin,
I mean, you could do that. No, not even a roll, or you can try and sneak something as you sort of make it look like an accident on the way by. That would be an option as well.
I'm gonna turn to Asher. Hey, Asher.
Yeah. What are you looking at?
If we upset this cart,
what's happening? Yeah.
If we upset this cart, this guy's gonna give us a 50, right? And I look over to Benjamin. I'm like, you think what I'm thinking, Benjamin?
I mean, Asher's a talker.
I mean, I am.
Asher.
What are you thinking? Tell me what you're thinking.
I mean, there's a lot of people around, right? And I need you to make a distraction, okay?
Ooh, I can do that. Yeah.
All right. So try and get as many people looking at you as you can. And then me and Benjamin, we're going to go and take care of this cart, okay?
All right. You ready? Because I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, let's do this.
And
okay. And
what is
Asher
your
walks in the
distraction?
middle and starts doing this and starts singing, all the single ladies, and starts like twerking. And his little short shorts is like, and like whipping his hair. And it's like doing the whole dance, every move, that's the whole thing.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. Well, on the bright side, they don't notice you're wearing glasses. That's not where they're looking. That is absolute. Give me a grace check. We're gonna turn this into like a group effort here. Give me a grace check, and depending on how many successes you create, that'll be how much of an advantage you give them.
All right.
Edward just shouts out, "Get those cheeks clapping!"
They clap, boy. They clap. What's my target number?
Let's do it against fours, just because I want to see. Oh yeah, we knew this. Yeah, it is all the moves. There is clapping. There is audible clapping. Yeah. You have got. You nailed it. No one will know for 2,500 years where any of this is coming from, but you absolutely nailed it. And as you do, I mean, as I said, it's hot here. It's like 45 degrees Celsius kind of hot, 130 sort of Fahrenheit kind of hot. So by the end of this, you are, I mean, this bit was already kind of clingy from the waist down. Now everything is just stuck to you.
And so I work it.
And People of all varieties are responding with various responses, as you can imagine, across the spectrum. All the way from there's actually a young fella, he's like 14. He's trying to come out and join you, but his mother's got him like both ears. No, 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 no. There's people getting ready to throw rocks and all kinds of good stuff. But well, that
Asher would
happens.
play up with the crowd. He point
Oh,
at the
yeah.
little boy and go, "You get it, kid. As soon as your mama loves you, you shake it out," and like winking and flirting and flipping hair with whoever will take
Right,
it.
throwing money's not going to be a
Absolutely.
thing for a while.
Yeah.
So
darn.
nobody's looking at the two of you.
All right, Benjamin, come on, let's go. We gotta go.
Yep, I'll grab the yoke if you deal with the wheel.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, so power or grace from both of you.
Against 4 again?
Yeah, this is a tiny card. This is more about making a really impressive flip than it is about actually flipping it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All I can say is limes everywhere. You guys just like you're maybe it's the dance that has inspired you. Whatever it is, you twist, you lift, leverage does its things, and you guys just there's limes flying up in the air and raining down on Asher and all the people in the area.
It's raining limes.
And weirdly, it hardly distracts. Asher is still dancing. There are some people starting to close in on him from behind that look like they might be getting ready to tackle him. But there is, only the owner of the cart turns around and goes, "Hey!" And he's looking at the cart, not at you guys.
Yeah, I go in and grab Benjamin and start beelining it towards Asher and kind of like make my way through the crowd. Just loop my arm in Asher's like, "Okay, Beyonce, we got to go."
And whoosh into the crowd.
Anytime. Yeah. I'll go anywhere with you. And just like, give him a little spin.
And there's much cheering and yelling of various kinds in the background as you guys back into the crowd, for lack of a better phrase. You head back to the original vendor, who is folded in half. He's seated against the wall, like his legs don't work, and he's just folded over, just shaking. As you get closer, you can hear him just howling with laughter. He can hardly breathe. And as you get close, he looks up and there's tears running down his face, and he just digs into his pocket and holds out a whole handful of coins.
Edward holds out his hand.
You look in and there's all these different kinds. I mean, you can have Asher explain them to you, but there's probably 3 or 4 of each kind, of each, up to 30s, 40s, 50s, 55s, and 60s. And that is the guaranteed percentage gold in each one. And they are in these coins. You, at this point, somebody give me a reason roll. Actually, all 3 of you. Maybe not Asher. You don't pay attention to stuff like this.
Yeah, you're right.
What are we rolling against?
4s. Let's make it, reasonable. They laughed, they cried, they rioted a little. 1 success, and Benjamin, did you roll there? There it is. Okay. 1 success. Yeah, you guys see. You flipped the one cart and you saw it there, but it kind of didn't register until you get back here and you start looking around at the other carts. You're looking down at the money and you can see the symbols on it. And you look at each cart and there's a little chart on each cart. And as you look at it, it says 10 coins displaces, and then there's a number of water. And he sees you looking, kind of, you see that way? It's testable. Volume, coins, weight, displacement. King's a genius, Queen 2. Oh, I have a head. Oh, shit. Oh, he's going to kill. That's my brother. It was just supposed to be oh, shit. Oh. There is mayhem. People are digging up or picking up the limes and standing up his cart, and some of them are trying to get at Asher still. What do you guys do?
Maybe chop some of the limes.
People are still going after Asher. I was like, okay, let's kind of get out of here for a sec. Let's try to get in a less auspicious place.
Right. I agree.
Asher
It's easy to do.
Ben is like, am I getting better at being unnoticeable?
He's just slick with sweat. His glasses glinting in the sun.
You definitely have professions available to you.
Thank you.
They'll definitely paint you like one of the Greek girls.
Asher gives Benjamin a giant kiss on his forehead, and he's like, "Mwah! Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment." Well, let's go.
Please do.
So,
Edward's gonna go in and kind of spread out the money equally as best he can.
yeah. You can see there's differences in the coloration too. Obviously, the more gold is in it, the darker the coin is. And you can see they're all exactly the same size, and you can feel a weight difference. You could weigh these to find out what percentage they were as well, but it's easier to cheat that than it is to do displacement. So you guys make your way out of this area, and no matter which direction you go from here, you're going into sort of a residential region. But there is the residential region, and then there's up the hill to the castle, which is pretty clearly what that is.
How does the activity look like in the residential area? And you said we can kind of see up towards the the palace.
Yeah.
Are there like a bunch of people moving up towards the palace, or
Now that you look around, this, especially as you get into the residential areas, this is a land of luxury. There's nobody doing our equivalent of mowing the lawn. There's nobody working on their vehicle sort of thing. Like, these are people that are laying around in their fancy houses, and there are servants. You don't know whether they're slaves or not, but there are servants doing most of the work. You don't see a single house that doesn't have servants. Everywhere you look. They appear also.
I vote, Edward.
I will finish that sentence by saying
Sure,
that
let's do
they
it.
appear to be healthy, well-fed, and well taken care of. Like, nobody's beating their servants. They're a lot of them are wearing almost like a family uniform, like a tabard almost with a crest on it. So you can. Those are mine. You know?
All right. I say either we go up to the castle or we join these fine folks on the grass, eating grapes and having some fun. Those are my two thoughts. What do you think?
well, I mean, we're here for King Midas, so I think going up there will be the best shot.
I'd agree. The least we can figure out if there's anything else we need to do to get up there further, or what the situation is.
You guys are, like you said, you're just leaving the main square, and there is a broad road that runs directly up to the castle, which is at the top of the hill. I mean, this is the Middle East, right? When I say hill, I mean hill. I don't mean hill. Like, you don't have to look way up there to it. It's maybe 50 or 100 feet higher than the rest of this town. But there is a broad road that runs right up to the gates, which are wide open. There are a few guards, like 2 or 3 on each side of the door up there. They look very relaxed. Even the guards are very well dressed. There's a little shelter for them, so they're not out in the direct sun. But it appears you can walk right into the castle. People are coming and going.
As we're walking up, is there any particular like iconography that stands out?
Thank you. Thank you. You're good at this. As you step up to the gates, you see they're open towards you. And so there's a half an image and a half an image. But if you kind of put them together, if they were closed from the other side, you can see what it is. It's actually the story of the Gordian Knot. There is an ox cart tied to a post driven into the ground, and around the yoke is this huge, complicated knot. That's on the inside of one panel. On the other panel is a picture of what is clearly Alexander the Great. The helm, the cavalry behind him makes it really obvious who he is. And in this image, he has not cut the knot with his sword as the common story goes. He's actually pulled the pin out of the yoke itself, and therein found both ends of the knot and proceeded to untie the knot in a much more traditional fashion, thus fulfilling the prophecy and almost fulfilling the prophecy by almost becoming the master of all of Asia. But that actually happened in Ancyra in Phrygia. It's the same city. Gordia is Midas's father.
Asher would look at Alexander and go, "Now that's a man I'd like to meet, if you know what I mean."
Oh,
All right, shall we go? Just walk on in. Maybe say hi to those guards.
things. I mean, for me at least, things seem a little bit peaceful to the point that I almost want to kind of take a walk around the walls to the castle and see if there's anything we're missing.
Okay, so you go for a little walk around. Give me a reason roll. I like this. Or intuition, your choice. Do you let your sort of natural self lead the way, or do you try and, if I was hiding something, I'd put it here?
It's kind of more of a. It feels like things are kind of calm, so he almost puts him at kind of on his toes a little bit. So it's kind of more intuition than reason.
Yeah, absolutely. So give me an intuition roll then.
Against.
This is a little more difficult. Give me a 5. It's not impossible. I was going to say 6. I should have, because you still succeeded twice. Yeah, which makes perfect sense. You're looking around, and it's normal. It's too normal. And your logical blacksmith brain starts grinding information. And that wall's too thick. And you start poking around. You find a little, almost like a stone manhole cover in the top of this rock work. It's a very obvious round shaft with this cover on it. Pick it up. There's a hole in it. It's like designed to have something put in and just lift it up, just like a manhole cover. Person hole cover?
I guess the question is, did Edward or Asher follow?
I was wondering about that. I was just going to keep going with just you, but and wait till somebody said something, and then we'd know if they were there or not. So, Edward, did you go with? And Asher, did you follow, or did you go? You were going to go flirt with the guards. So
I'm flirting with guards. I'm like,
absolutely.
He'll let me know what happens, and just like get my.
They know where to find me.
They know where to find me.
I'll meet at the food court.
I gotta get myself that lock of hair. I gotta get working on it.
Edward will kind of follow him, but if there's anybody around, he'll try to kind of bring him into a conversation. Like pointing towards the doorway where it has the Gordian Knot on it, and I'm kind of from out of town. Who's that on the door?
Alexander of Carthage.
Alexander. He'll kind of think back from a very old history class he take. Was it Alexander or Iskander? Is that his actual name? Iskander?
He is called different things in different places. And of course, translation, often things are lost.
He's been here, yes?
Yes,
Do you know where
he
he
heard
is
of the
now?
prophecy and came. The last we heard, almost to India. Or whatever they call that area at this point in time, yeah.
Was like Macedonia or something like that? I don't know.
That's where he made it damn near to he made it into India, and they came out of India and turned towards China when his people revolted and insisted on going home. But he's not quite to India yet. And as it turns out, his first major loss.
All right. Edward, I almost said Alexander. Edward will, oh, that's really interesting. Kind of look back over to see what Benjamin was doing.
Yep.
At that point, he's probably kind of taking a look over his shoulder, seeing Edward kind of talking. So he's going to take the cover off and kind of set it to the side.
Yep. And the light pours through the hole, and you can see running water, and you can hear a river. It's channeled under here. You can look. They've actually built walls and a square channel, and they've forced this river into this underground space. However, there is still the water is crystal clear, and with the light shining through it, you can see there is dirt, not dirt, there's sand and rocks, and even boulders in it. And they are all some shade of electrum.
Hey, Benjamin, you find anything over there?
Definitely seems like a strange spot in the wall. Some kind of no, running water of some sort.
Edward will go over and see what it looks like.
Yeah, you look in that hole as well, and you kind of tip from side to side, and there's enough light flowing in because of this incredible Mediterranean sun. It is quite literally a river that has been covered over. It's been hidden. And you can see where it runs and where it runs to. It runs up the hill. If it continues to go in a straight line from what you can see, it goes right to the castle. And down the hill, it goes out under the wall. And now that you're really looking for it, when you look out in the desert beyond, you can see a sort of connected series of oases that mark places where there must be liquid leaking up to the surface. But both of you would have enough engineering background to be at this point. They covered 30 miles of river. Because you can see all the way to the horizon. This path that heads down towards what must be the Mediterranean.
And we kind of look down and we see it's kind of like glittery, right?
It's as far as you can tell, the entire bottom of it is covered in electrum. Miles of it.
Well,
Meanwhile,
I think we
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish that conversation, and then I'll meanwhile.
I kind of look over at Benjamin. I think we might have found a hint of maybe where his legend kind of came from. If this river is so rich in all these minerals and stuff, you could kind of see where they get their wealth from.
Maybe. My thought was more of what better way to learn somebody than to find out what they're hiding.
And as you ponder that and many other imponderables, and start to tickle away at what might be the truth. I don't know if there's tickling involved going on at the fence, but it's probably pretty close by this point. Asher's been there for like a minute now, so you cruise
how
up.
How long have you been guarding on this station?
Just before you start, I will mention you're starting to dry out now, so you're starting to get that.
Okay.
So yeah. So they're starting to get a little bit of ripple and movement to it all. But yes, as you move up, the 6 of them, they don't even look at you as you're walking up. Well, a couple of them are like, yeah, okay. They make no effort to stop you.
Oh, there are my friends. I know we were just about to get something going, but I think we got to go up to the castle. Catch you later. Or what time are you done on this shift?
And just there's this completely oblivious answer. Sunset? He had no idea. He's actually answering your question, not answering your innuendo in any way, shape, or form. Sunset?
All right. See you at
Realized
sunset?
they didn't put the genie. Why would you see me at sunset? Are you a new guard?
I'm asking if you would like to sleep with me in a
Oh,
non-platonic manner.
Oh, and the other guards just like they saw through it completely. Yeah.
You're all invited, of course. Asher looks around. You're all invited.
And then some of the
orgy was invented around here.
So yeah, there's a considerable uncomfortableness, but statistically speaking, there is no one here that is on your page.
All right.
So you're making them all really not all of them. You're making that one particular guy really uncomfortable though, and his buddies really seem to be enjoying it.
All right. Well, into it or not, I'll be back at sunset. See y'all later. Maybe or maybe not.
And you just walk in?
Well, I'm watching Edward and Benjamin, but it looks like they're ready to go. So
they're starting to come back. Do you put the cover back on, Benjamin, before you come back?
Well, my plan was...
Okay, yes. Tell me your plan. That's better. You tell me what you're going to do. Don't let me do it.
Anything on the side to kind of walk... I don't know, especially because I think you said they kind of covered a river. If there's any spot to kind of walk down the side, I was going to follow that up the hill under the ground.
Oh.
So I wanted to come from, effectively under the castle and kind of see where this
okay.
hidden area kind of led to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be challenging because this is literally a river under here. But you could certainly, stay towards the sides. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I say yes to everything. Yes, you can do this. It's just going to be difficult. Not difficult, time consuming. What we're going to do is a roll. I think power is probably the best one here because you're physically going to have to force your way against the water. It's not going to decide whether you fail or succeed. It's going to decide how long it takes you to do it.
Okay. So this is a power against what number?
Sixes. This is like you're literally fighting your way up a river.
Sixes. Ooh.
So yeah, you get in there and start pushing and pushing. You are making ground. Like I said, this is not an if. This is a when. You start pushing against the water and realize how slow you're going. It's going to take a long time to get there, but you absolutely will get there. It's late afternoon now. You think probably 2 to 3 hours would get you up that hill. Because the closer you get, the steeper it's getting. Edward, you look down the hole and see Benjamin starting to struggle up against the river.
Are you committed to this plan? It looks like it's gonna take you a while. Might be just easier to walk up into the castle. As that I do that, I kind of look around. Is anybody kind of looking at us really weird?
Not really weird, but you are starting to, you're starting to gather some attention. Luckily for you, the place with obviously the place with the cover was hidden. It was not it's not right in the middle of a street that people would look. So that part, nobody saw you do that. But yeah, it's a city full of foreigners too, foreign business people. So he went down the hole. You put the lid back on, I'm assuming, or not. But yeah,
it's still open for the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I agree it's going to take a while, but I really want to know where this goes.
I mean, once I put the cover on, you're going to be down there in the dark. You got a way to look and see where you're going?
I mean, I know which way I'm going because I'm fighting the river the entire way.
Do you want me to cover the hole back up?
I mean, it's going to get dark one way or another. So I leave it up.
Fair enough, yeah.
All right.
Plank. Kevin would have put the lid down on you the second you went down the hole. Safety first, plunk.
Benjamin, I'm not gonna lie. If it gets hairy, and you're not there with us, I hope you at least remember where the door is.
You have a point. I may end up in an oasis if the thing goes wrong. Well, I have made up my mind, and I'm just going to keep going.
Okay, so you're going up the river. Yep, that works for me.
Edward will go, and I hope
that's a very blacksmith thing to do. Hit it until it stops getting in the way. Edward, you are going to just walk in.
I'm gonna go close the gate, and I'm gonna head up towards the castle.
Absolutely. Asher, you're already inside. They don't even attempt to stop you. You walk in.
I'd be flirting until I see Edward coming.
Oh, until you see Edward coming. Okay. So yeah, Edward comes. Yeah.
Where'd he go? Where'd our friend Ben go?
Anyway, I kind of look at him and like, I'll tell you in a second, and kind of usher him in away from the guards.
Yep.
I'll be back for you guys later. Then.
As we're kind of
he'll be back for you later.
Yeah, we found a river that they've covered up, and he decided to go underground and follow the river. It kind of leads right up to the castle here.
Huh. Is that like an aqueduct? Like, pretty sure those are in my glasses somewhere.
Yep. There was no record of this river in your glasses.
Huh.
No record of any river around here.
There's no river in my glasses. I guess it's a good thing he's checking it out, but I hope he's gonna be okay. Where are we gonna meet up with him?
I mean, I guess back at the door. If we just wait there until we can't wait there anymore. If it kind of becomes hairy.
You just became Dr. Seuss. All right, here we go. Let's get on up. Let's go check out this castle. Go find our Midas, the main man Midas.
The two of you walk into the center of this castle. It is composed of 6 towers and connecting walls, each one, as I said before, a different size, a different diameter, and a different colored gold. You realize now that they're covered in 30%, 40%, 50%, 55%, and 60% electrum. They're covered in the same stuff as the coins in your pocket. And the shortest of these towers is 10 stories tall.
Hey, Edward, these towers match our coins. That's pretty cool.
There's
Wonder if
one
mine
that
made the
doesn't.
coins.
The
Eh?
one at
Look at
the
that one.
end.
It doesn't match.
The biggest one. It's short and squat and round. And it is covered in 24 karat gold.
That's where we're gonna find Midas there, Edward.
In the
see it.
Mediterranean sun. You guys are in the courtyard. And I mean, at first you can't look down. You're just like, it's 7 towers made. It look like they're made of gold. I mean, in your head you're going, it's a cladding, but it's still a stupid amount of gold, or electrum in this case. And then your eyes come down. Solid gold rose bushes, exactly like the ones out in the streets. Every leaf, every rose, every thorn individually picked out in 24 karat gold. Edward, you look down, because you mentioned it earlier, there are tiny gold clockwork insects crawling around on the carved gold rose bushes. There's solid gold benches, solid gold candle sconces, and in the center of this courtyard is what appears to be a boulder of gold. It's a meter tall, 2 meters across, and out of the top of it is a fountain of water that sparkles, like it's got mica in it. And that runs down off one side of the rock and into a glorified culvert that runs across the courtyard and into the big gold tower.
Noticing the insects on the plants, I grab Asher's attention. Asher, look at this. And I point at the insects, and I kind of reach my hand out and see if one of the insects climb on it.
It's moving. They're moving.
Yeah.
So that can't be solid gold. That can't. Are they naturally gold? Let's see. What are my glasses?
Does one of the insects climb on my hand?
If you put your finger in front of it, it comes along the thing and just crawls up onto your finger. You hold it up real close. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I bring it up close and I look at it. It doesn't look like it's like a coloring or not even a like gold leaf kind of thing on it.
Nope.
It actually looks like it's
It
gold.
is hammered gold. And you can see the clockwork inside it and a spring, and you can see a little hole in the side where it would be wound up, which implies somewhere around here there's somebody whose job it is to wind up the insects. But it continues to crawl along your finger, and you're looking in, and all the mechanism inside is gold as well. Gold and electrum.
Edward, we gotta take one of these home. These are cool. But someone made this thing. Could you imagine? Look at the little tiny machinery in there.
Asher, think about what time we're in. They didn't think to have... this is an incredible innovation.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. My glasses we didn't have clocks. They have those sun things, right? You know, the sun hits the thing and it tells you the time. No clocks.
Could I, thinking back, maybe make a reasoning roll for any mention of in history of like events that large amounts of information could have been lost? I don't want to say like, Library of Alexandria, but
No, I get it. Yeah, give me a reason roll.
What am I rolling against?
5. There's something tickling. There's what I will give you is there are a number at this time in history. There were a number of what would historically have been known as great men, real thinkers of the time. This is the height of the Greek Empire. So there is a lot of logic and things going on. This is beyond the pale of anything you've ever seen in a history book. But looking at it, you can see, you think in 2037 you probably know somebody who could build one. Maybe.
Edward, I bet you the narrator, the person that they would want to know about this. I think we should take a couple home and let them know. I think we don't have information on this kind of knowledge. Like, this got to be, we're missing some information in our time period. This is wild.
This is far beyond what we think that people back then were capable of.
Hey, do you think we can find the person who winds? Well, like, someone has to be working on this around here somewhere. Should we take a look and see if they know who made it?
It wouldn't hurt, I guess.
A gold statue standing by one of the doors says, "That would be me." And they step forward, and you see that it's actually a human, completely shaved and painted gold.
Asher does the whole looking up and down and lingering a moment. You are really gold.
It is my function to wind the insects. Has one of them
you
stopped?
wind them well. You wind them well. Do you know, sir?
And you can see a chain around their neck, a gold chain with a whole row of little tiny gold keys.
Do you know who made these insects? Do you know who employs you?
To my understanding, it was Greek metalworkers, bronze workers, I believe, who were tasked by the king. It is said
Did you
it
ever
took
meet
them
them?
nearly a lifetime to create one. Each is absolutely unique, designed by a different artist.
They're beautiful, and you wind them up beautifully.
I detect a certain amount of sarcasm in your voice.
Oh, not sarcasm. That's flirting.
Oh, pardon, I misread.
I misflirted.
You just got told they didn't notice that you flirted with them.
Asher's like, gotta work on it.
I just want to quickly cut to underground. It is pitch black. This river is getting harder and harder to push against. And then you start, it's like, oh no, because you can hear it coming, the steep spot at the end. And you get to it, and just when you're looking up going, you know what, maybe I'll just let it wash me back down to the door. This is ridiculous. I'm exhausted. I'm wet. My shoes are full of dirt, which is probably priceless. And just at that point, at the bottom of the hill, you find along one side a series of steps cut in the rocks, just above the water level. I mean, they had to build this somehow. So
There we go.
there is the vestiges of that. You kind of climb out of the water and squeegee the worst of it off of you. As you do that, you look down and there's electrum flakes all over you. Your sparkle it's absolutely dark, but you can feel as you do that, you can feel them gritting against the sand and stuff, gritting against your fingers. And you realize you must be absolutely covered in electrum sand.
Okay. So some of the both is in the sand, or they're doing something further up and putting the flakes in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, definitely found something. So I'm gonna kind of head up
You keep heading
my
up
way
the
up the
hill.
stairs.
Absolutely. Back in the courtyard, the person that you're speaking to, Asher, says, pardon me, and just backs back to their spot and freezes in place again.
Edward, did you what? Why do that?
I don't think your flirting is going to work on that gold member.
He's already nice and golden, hard and golden. I lost my words. I'm wondering, did the king walk in or something? Like, should we take a look around? Why did he go back
As
to
you
work
look
all
around,
mid-sentence?
the answer to that question is yes. You turn and look, and on the other side, coming out of the huge golden tower, are two people that can only be the king and queen. The reason you make that connection is they have no gold on them at all. They're not painted gold. Their clothes aren't gold. They're not wearing jewelry, no rings, no neck collars, no torques, no helm. No, not throne. You don't wear a throne on your head. Crown. That's the word I'm looking for. There's no crowns, nothing. They are utterly gold free. And as such, they stand out against everything else in this place.
Edward.
He is a thickly built, very muscular man, dark, swarthy skin, full beard. She is lighter skinned, obviously Greek. You can tell from the hair and the skin tone and also the way she's dressed. She is wearing a very early version of a toga. I think I'm losing the light. Anyway, damn it. Oh well, I'm lying. Anyway, we'll do the rest of it with Shadow. Beside him. Yes, she is beside him, and they walk out hand in hand. There are no guards. There is no one else in this area.
Edward.
Yeah, what?
Dude, there's royalty. Look, I think it's Midas and his lady. Do you know her name? She's on the she helped make these coins, but I don't. Wait, it's in the glasses. Let me hang on.
Her name is Damodis, and she is the daughter of no less a personage than Agamemnon of Greece.
Oh.
She is royalty in her own right. And the two of them simply stop and look at you.
That's Damodis. They're stopping and looking. Oh, hello, great King Midas and Queen Damodis. And Asher does like a royal bow thing. And then pulls on Edward to be like, get down. Yeah. We are honored to be in thine presences of presences. We have come from far away.
That really bugs me. LED lights aren't supposed to burn out. So yeah, you're going. You're. Would it be fair to say you are? Well, you just did. I don't have to say what you were. You are bowing and doing the whole thing. How does Edward respond?
Yeah.
Edward will kind of go and look at them, and he'll also kind of bow a little bit.
Mm-hmm. He says, it is blatantly obvious that you are not from here. Is there something you require?
We came from far because we have heard stories of your great golden land and new inventions of coins. And Asher holds one up. You have created wonderful things here, and then kind of elbows Edward, like, say something.
We are scholars looking to increase our knowledge of the arts, of architecture, of you're just the beauty that your city. It's a marvel, and we're wondering how, and we want to learn.
I don't know where you're from, but is everyone there such a poor liar?
Oh, we're not lying. We want to know. We want to know how you built this city.
I built it using the golden electrum. There's no secret. My beautiful and talented wife can tell you her part of the story. And he sort of gestures to her. And she kind of, it's not that difficult. I just thought if you had a standardized weight of each coin, it would make sense. They make such a big fuss about it. I'm just cutting things into nice normal pieces. And he's kind of grinning behind her like she's very much downplaying what she actually did.
Edward will look to Asher and kind of look back to King Midas. All right, you got me. We're definitely strangers, but I'm kind of playing it up a bit. I'm not gonna lie, but I am interested, both in here your city and you and your wife. And I'm sure I've seen some things that you probably couldn't even believe. Would you be interested in maybe swapping stories? Information for information?
And he just gestures towards one of the solid gold benches. Please, please sit. Tell me where you're really from. That skin, by the way, is a dead giveaway. And he points at the both of you, and you kind of look at each other, and you're starting to sunburn really quite badly. And you look around, and yeah, you're really pale compared to everybody else here. They live in this sun, right?
I think if Edward's gonna sit with the king, Asher would approach the queen and say, if it's all right, can I speak with you while the king speaks with Edward?
This way. And she leans to she waves to another bench on the other side of this little area. So there is enough space
Before
between the two. Yeah.
I just look at Asher. I give him the stare.
If ever there was not a time.
Asher's just whatever. All right. The sign language of and mouthing like okay, fine.
Benjamin, underground, you see ahead of you what must be a grate above you, because there's light coming in, and you can see this. Well, it's the bottom of the boulder that they're seeing above. You're seeing like the bottom half of a solid gold boulder. And off the side closest to you, the water is running down and into this sand and dirt that's at your feet and washing everything away. It is, you can see in the light, it is coming out of the rock. It's coming down the side of the rock to where you are. You put your hand out and sand and electrum pebbles are landing in your palm. And you can see half of this, and you put your hand on it and you can feel it vibrating. The water is obviously coming in somewhere else, going somewhere, and then coming down the side of it to where you are.
So it's kind of in front of me, or it's above me, or
it's sort of the gold boulder is sort of in the wall. You can see the bottom quadrant of it, so you can see it from halfway down, and you can see half of it. The half away from you is buried behind a rock wall, and the half above that is above ground.
Yeah.
So you're sort of looking at the bottom quadrant, sort of this bit. Mm-hmm. And then above you, again, 20, 30 feet up, or no, sorry, not that far. It's only a couple of feet above you is this grate, which you can see from where it's glittering is solid gold.
Okay, so the grate's 20 feet up. Do I hear anything coming from it?
Actually, from above, yes, you hear voices. It's hard to tell because the water's rushing, but you hear voices, which may be... Well, give me a reason check. See if you can figure it out.
Reason against?
4 from where you are, yeah.
Against 4.
I'm afraid not. You're unable to discern anything other than what you've already seen. Other than there are voices up there. Somebody's talking.
Okay, so definitely...
And it's daylight, so it's outside.
So daylight, it's flat. So probably definitely have hit the castle area, and because it's daylight, some kind of courtyard is what I'm looking up at.
Perfectly logical. Yeah.
So looking kind of with what light I have, looking forward, does it go up at all anymore, or is it still... I'm kind of at a flat point and doesn't go up anymore?
This is the end. Yeah, this is clearly the end of the tunnel. You are, you can see out through the opening. Yeah, you have deduced correctly. You are below the court. You are below this castle that you saw from outside.
Okay. So I think we said there was some kind of, or this is at the top of the stairs that you kind of talked about earlier.
Yep. So you can climb out from here. It's easy enough to climb up. There's sort of foot notches cut in the wall. You can climb out like a ladder. There's no roll necessary.
So I'll try to, as carefully as he can. So more, it's one of those, I know he's not particularly trying to figure out a way of doing it and kind of being careful without necessarily having to rely on grace, which I feel like it's probably going to come down to, even if he has to go slowly.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to interrupt something. I guess
Yeah,
kind of the
absolutely.
deal I'm going for. Because they
So you
definitely
sneak up,
move.
you climb up there. Give me a grace to get up there quietly, and then a power to lift that grate if you decide to, because it's solid
Okay.
gold.
So the grace itself is against what?
4. It's not that. Again, this is about doing something quietly, not about doing something.
Not
So
gonna
yeah. There's kind of the rock kind of breaks away under your foot, and there's a splash below you. You've probably given away your presence. In fact, up in the courtyard, the two of you hear a swoosh from over by the rock, and the king and queen both turn to look before looking back and leading you back to the benches.
Asher looks at Edward and mouths Benjamin, but doesn't say it out loud.
I mean, if I definitely think the splash alerted people, I'll probably just make the rest of the way without really caring too much about noise.
Yep. And then just, what are you going to do when you get to the grate?
I mean, I've already kind of told somebody I'm there, so I'm just gonna kind of push it open into the side.
Yeah, you're a blacksmith. You don't have to make a chest. You can push this grate out of the way and climb out into the courtyard. You see that these golden roses and golden benches and golden slaves and golden towers from the inside for the first time. What the two of you see is a solid gold sewer grate go plang. This soaking wet, sparkly, because he's absolutely covered in electrum sand and dust and pebbles. Like there's a pocket full as he climbs out. All the stuff in his robes and stuff is full of it as he climbs up out of this hole, as the water and the electrum are just falling off of him.
So
It's
That's
onward
Edward
where
from
it went.
Twilight.
It's Edward from Twilight.
So, you, the two of you that are already up there, look. Midas just raises an eye, and Damodis, for a second, is taken aback, and then she also raises an eyebrow in interest.
That would be a friend of ours, lady. He likes attention, although he likes to make fun of me for looking for attention. But anyways,
No, I'm looking for answers where nobody wants to look. I wasn't
And
exactly looking for attention. That's what I got.
Asher's
It
playing
would
with you.
seem that you have found that information.
Well, other than I don't believe people drink this water straight, at least as it is.
We have other sources for our drinking water. And he turns to Edward for a moment. He says, where did you say you were from?
Kansas.
Is Kansas a very long way from here?
Yes.
And once the three of you return to Kansas, will I ever see you again?
Probably not.
Pointing at Asher, he at least. Actually, I don't know anything about that. Never mind. I mean, if anything, you'll probably see him again at some point.
Possibly.
The two of them look at the three of you. Midas just, his eyes flicker to one of the help, and they come over with a bucket and a sponge and start trying to wipe the worst of it off of you. You let them?
I would tell Damodis, I want you to know I am collecting knowledge. I'm collecting information, and I think that the men in our history are often written about, not often the women. And I want to know more about your creation of the city and the creation of the weighted pieces of coin, and how you're a genius, my lady, my queen. And I want that information to be written and taken into our future.
How do you know how women are treated in the future?
I know what is currently written in our books if we were to visit the great libraries, and it is
You're
not
a-
many times we read about women.
You're a worse liar than he is. How do you know how women are treated in the future?
Can I hear this?
Yes. At this point, all of you are there.
Well, you know, how You don't seem surprised by us showing up. Is it possible that a oracle might have told you something, much like a oracle could have told us things?
At this point, Asher knows we're not getting away with anything, and he takes off his glasses and he says, I cannot give these to you, but would you like to take a look? And he hands them over to her.
And she puts them on, no questions, just pops them on. And you hear, oh. And you can see there's a little indicator light here that flicks every time a page changes. And it's just bang, 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 bang. Like it's 10 times faster than you can read. And in a matter of moments, oh, those are very nice. Thank you. And she turns them around and hands them to you. Yeah. Your city is very beautiful, but well, it's not. And she just points to the big gold tower behind her.
No, it's not. And that is why we're here.
I didn't see any gold in your. I didn't see any gold in your world.
It's rare, my lady, and that's why I'd like to. Two things: one, bring back information on who you are and what you've brought to the city, and two, I'd like to request: can I take this little insect home with me as a token?
She says, I'm a queen of 2 countries, my dear. I can do a damn sight better than a robot bug. And she just snaps her fingers. And one of the help comes in from the castle bearing a life-sized head of her done in 24 karat gold.
Asher whispers under his breath, better than a lock of hair.
And she reaches down and pulls open this little drawer in the base, and inside it there are tiny gold scrolls that have somehow been treated that you can unroll them and read them and roll them back up. And it is her biography. Autobiography,
queen,
I guess it would be.
My queen, did you make this? Or did you invent it? How did this come to be?
She looks in and she shows you her fingers and she says, who else could make such tiny bugs? I told you the coins were nothing compared to what else I'd done.
Tell me everything. Tell me all.
Don't hold back. It's all in there. But she starts to tell you, and yes, she built the bugs. She's the one that figured out coinage. She's the one he figured out. You guys find out this from the conversation. He's the one that figured out the way to measure percentages by displacement. It's Archimedes' principle. Archimedes was also one that inspired her to take up this hobby of, she made tiny automatons, and he inspired her to continue to do so. But the end story is that the two of them are simply 2 geniuses that met. And between the two of them, as he puts it, together we washed away the curse of knowing that there was gold in the Electrum in the river, but not being able to spend or hoard it. So I guess you could say everything I touched turned to gold.
Now that, King, should be the end of your biography. That's what we call in our timeline a mic drop.
Who is this Mike? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. He did not say that. Kevin said that. I take it back. Kevin said that.
Unimportant. You don't quite with these stupid things.
So yes, she gives you the bust and the thing. Midas himself, Edward, you were speaking to him. Did you have any specific questions for him?
In a very roundabout way, pretty much got all the information.
Okay.
I would ask, does he have a daughter?
I have. You're a bit old for her, but I do have a number of daughters. Yes.
Oh. Since the gig is kind of up, we got stories of you in the future.
Oh,
One of them was, you're known as a man who can turn things into gold with a touch, and a bit of tragedy to befell you, where you went and touched some food, it turned to gold, and you couldn't eat it. You touched the roses. He kind of points to the roses, and Your daughter was quite sad that you turned them into gold, and she couldn't smell them anymore. And you went to console her and went to touch her and turned her into gold.
That is how it came down. She loved the roses. It is why there are 60 roses on each of them. For 12 days, she sat in the garden doing nothing but complaining that I had turned the roses to gold. I had, of course, not done so. I had them replaced. She would not believe me. I made a mistake. We, he looks at Damodis, made a mistake. Thought then that we could buy her happiness. I gave her as much gold as a caravan could carry. She used it to start a war. And we have been forced to disown her. So I guess in a way you could say she was destroyed by me touching her. Certainly by my gold.
Where'd you banish her off to?
I do not know where she is now. I know only that there are watchers that I employ, and if she ever returns to this region... He looks at his wife. He looks back at the ground like he cannot look her in the eyes when he says it. I will have to kill her. Hey, Dag and company, thank you so much. Thanks for popping in. You're here right for the closing, as usual. So that is what Midas says to you.
Wow.
Asher has to chip in and say, "What is her name?" In the future, there are arguments over what your daughter's name is, who is turned to gold.
And he looks at you and says, "I will not speak that name, nor will anyone hear."
Maybe that's why there are arguments and no one really knows.
Well, I guess the only question that we really have is, can we just leave? You're not going to keep us here?
Not quite yet. The insect, he points at the one that's still on your finger.
Well, I suppose, yeah, your wife's giving us the other thing.
Oh no, I meant. And he puts his fingers in his mouth and whistles. And from inside the castle, it doesn't run, it's on wheels, but it is a golden terrier.
Oh.
Like a little dog, but it's cast in gold, solid gold, and it's on little wheels. So it doesn't, it's not, it's mechanical in that it moves, but it's not mechanical in that it doesn't run. It's not, even Demodis couldn't have done that. It's dog size. But it skitters up to a place near him. He kind of grins down at it and says, "My wife is so brilliant. It will come when you whistle."
And he goes and Edward hands over the insect.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Still some of your best work, my dear. And he's just like openly in love with his wife for this beautiful work that she's done. She did the dog as well.
Asher still has a bug and had asked Demodis if he could have one, and kind of looks knowingly at her like, "Can I have it?"
As long as you promise not to put it on my skull. And she looks at the
That is a promise I can keep.
Benjamin, you are now, they've finished wiping you down, and you've been listening in on this. But you have not officially been introduced to either the king or the queen.
It's funny, he kind of doesn't really know how to kind of introduce himself, because he kind of showed up more in the middle of the courtyard.
Yeah, so he didn't come through the door.
He doesn't really want to like jump into conversations kind of thing. So I guess more waiting for kind of somebody to kind of, or not necessarily waiting for the king or queen to kind of nod to him, but even so kind of a mention of, so who is like this third person?
Mm-hmm. You, as you're sort of waiting patiently, like, come on, man, I climbed up out of your gold rock. Nobody's going to say anything? Are you seriously? Yeah. And
Mhm.
as you're standing there waiting for a moment to sort of jump into the conversation, you hear from a door beside you from one of the more silver towers. You look and it's like it's the 50% tower, so it's just 30, 40, 50. You hear from the door, hey, hey.
Yep. I will kind of turn to the side.
You turn around and look, and it might as well be a mini Midas. This kid's probably 9 or 10. He's got the same heavy build, the same features. He hasn't got a beard yet because he's only 9, but it looks like it's about to start. And the way he holds himself, and he is dressed, again, there's no gold on him at all. He is wearing a plain white, just a long hanging robe.
Okay. So in that case, I'll kind of back up towards the door.
Mm-hmm. And he's pressed up here so that his parents can't see him, right? Hey. You just shuffle over and get in there. Yeah, you step in and he looks up at you. Hi, who are you?
Yeah, Master Smith Benjamin. How may I call you?
Most of them call me Prince, but my name's Terry.
So would you prefer me to refer to you as Terry or Prince Terry?
Which one do you like?
I mean, your father, I would presume, is the king, so I would have to say Prince Terry.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was still a prince, but you didn't care what my dad thought?
Probably Terry.
Cool. And he reaches around a corner into what's obviously his room, and he pulls out what at first you take for a golden teddy bear. Like it looks like a solid gold, like you know those was it Lindt chocolate that has the golden bears? It kind of looks like that, but then he squeezes it and it's got give to it, and you realize the bear isn't gold, but all of its hair, every individual strand of hair on this bear is a different shade of electrum. It looks like a tiny golden grizzly bear,
If I may ask,
except it's a stuffy.
Who made the fine electrum?
My mom.
So thin, without it breaking constantly. How in the world?
He's. I don't need it anymore. I'm all grown up now.
Take, not to take, to take, not to take.
And he's just holding it up to you with this innocent look of giving on his face. Give me an intuition roll.
Intuition against.
3. This is pretty easy. Yeah. It hits you like a hammer. He didn't mean it. He absolutely will cry if you take this bear. It is.
Young one, I appreciate your thought in your mother is a smith in her own right. Even just the knowledge of how to make it so thin without making it brittle would be as much joy as taking this.
You want me to keep it?
No, keep it.
Okay. He kind of puts it around the corner. What's your name?
Name is Benjamin, sir.
When I grow up, I want to be a Benjamin.
Well, a name is simply what you have people call you.
That's not what my mom and dad said. My mom and dad said names are important.
They are. They're important because it's how people think of you. And there are people that I'm sure change their names from time to time, whether or not it's for hiding something that they don't want or trying to make themselves something different.
I'm a prince. I can do anything I want. If I want to be a Benjamin, I can be a Benjamin. And his little chins just There's a little pout going on. You could put a shelf on there, put a planter on that.
Not saying that you couldn't be a Benjamin, but just make sure that you always make sure you never forget who you are. If it's a Benjamin or if it's a Terry.
I'm going to remember you.
Thank you.
And he just turns around and walks away because he's a kid, just distracted. There's cookies somewhere. He's gone. And you sort of step back out. As you do so, the three of you are being very cordially and very professionally escorted away by the king and queen in that wonderful way that royalty has, where they just start walking somewhere and you feel impelled to go with them. And they walk you to the castle edge where you expect them to stop. The guards come to full attention. They keep walking with you. No guards follow. They walk through the streets. The people of the city smile and wave. And you look around again and realize how unbelievably wealthy this city must actually be. There's more gold on that one tower, on Midas's tower, than there is in all of the treasuries of the rest of the known world around the Mediterranean at this time. This is a place where salt was still more important than gold. And they had cornered the market. And the two of them walk you, if you let them, all the way back into the lime orchard. And all the way up to the pile of rocks.
Well, my plan kind of when we hit the orchard is to kind of try to, at some point, have struck up a conversation about how they got, or basically how the queen got the election so fine.
Absolutely. She, I don't know the answer because I don't think it can be done, and it doesn't matter. She has a highly technical conversation with you on the way back to the lime fields. You have to sort of translate into modern language. She talks about a process, and you're like, oh, that's burnishing, and she talks about this other process. Oh, hammer forging. Okay, and she tells you. And none of this can really be done in modern times, at least not with 24 karat gold. She teaches you how to make springs out of gold, which shouldn't be possible. She teaches you how to pound gold till it's hard and like a shell to work with. She teaches you more about gold and electrum smithing in that 20-minute walk than you learned about smithing iron in all of your life up till now. She is absolutely brilliant. And at that same time, Midas is walking with you. And he's discussing, particularly with Asher and Edward, because Benjamin seems to be enthralled in this other conversation. He's talking about moral quandaries and difficult decisions. And about 3/4 of the way there, he says, I am being dishonest. I was hoping to prevent myself from asking this before you went, but my ego insists. How am I and my family remembered? I see.
You remembered a lot about your gold, sir. And to be honest, your wife has not mentioned much, and I think that's wrong. That's part of the reason we're here, is to get the truth.
Thank you for your honesty.
But, make sure that everybody can see your ears at all times. Just a heads up. And there are a lot of cows in your city. Try to stay away from bull's blood, okay?
I understand none of that, but I will do what you suggest.
King Midas, if there is one thing that you want the world to know, what do you want them to know?
My wife is a genius. He doesn't even let you finish the sentence. My wife is a genius.
I can make sure that happens, sir.
And this has been worth it. Thank you. may I see how it is you do it?
I don't know. Asher looks at Edward. We've never asked if we could do something like that. What do you think?
I mean, just walking through a portal.
I mean, you can't come with us. I'm sure that wouldn't be allowed, but could you say hello?
Honestly, Asher, would you leave this? I just want to see how it works.
No, I wouldn't leave this. I say let's take him inside. If it's not allowed.
Oh no,
Whatever.
I wouldn't. I just want to see this portal of which you spoke.
I'm okay with it if you are, Edward. What do you think? Maybe we should ask Ben when he's done talking with the Queen.
And you guys approach now, and the Queen is quiet. She's done. She's given you the full message, the full Electrum thing. You can do shit with Electrum now that nobody living can do, or you will be able to once you practice a little bit. That was your gift.
Benjamin, the king wants to see inside the portal. I'm okay with it. Edward seems to be. I don't know. Are you okay with that, Edward? Just open the door, let him look.
I don't see the harm in letting them look, but if you don't mind, I'll hold the door.
Of course.
Sounds fine with me. I mean,
find
it's pretty
the handle.
boring on our side.
Who opens the door? Who puts their hand out to find the doorknob? Benjamin, you said you were going to hold the door, so is it you that opens it? Look at the fear. We started with fear, we ended with fear. Nothing bad has happened, but still the fear.
I mean, yeah, I think he'll try to open the door because he was kind of popped in a little more.
So you put your hand on and you find it and you slide your hand down, and as this always works, as soon as you close your hand around the doorknob, the door appears, and it is one of those cheap painted apartment doors, wood with the crappy fake brass knob on it. You know, it's that door. You guys, you've only been here twice, but you already sort of take it for granted because this is every door in every house ever. And Midas and Demodis look at it, and she kind of laughs, and he says, "That was rather anticlimactic. May we see inside?" You pull the door open, and there's this little gyprock room with the 8 plastic chairs.
Are the gamer chairs that I bought everybody?
Those were up in the other office, not in the machine.
Oh, I gotta get us some more for the machine.
So
Gotta buy the next paycheck.
They look in and kind of look both ways, and I can't say I'm not disappointed. Maybe I shouldn't have known. Anyway, may each of you be well. He reaches out his hand in the universal gesture of shake hands, and Demodis is beside him doing the same. And the 3 of you shake hands with King Midas and Queen Demodis, daughter of Agamemnon, and grabbing your skills and your automata, impossible trinkets from history, and a biography carved in gold of one of the most famous women who's been forgotten. You close the door, and you see just a tiny look of, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's disappointment, maybe it's a lack of bravery on their faces as you close the door. You've got a moment in the chamber to yourselves.
No, that's not. I mean, thinking about it, as much as it is technologically impressive and just ridiculous what they've done, a lot of it, you can see that how complex it is.
Yes.
I go to the door and open it again.
You open the door, and it opens into another blank room.
Ooh. What would happen if we jumped in there, eh, Edward? I'm tempted, but I also want a cheeseburger.
I'll close the door again. Well, I guess there's always next time.
Oh, I love creative players. If you see me making notes, that means I'm impressed because it means it's something I have to take into account for the future. So, so yes, you closed that door. The other door behind you.
Edward and Benjamin, I never asked you. I don't know much about you. But why are you doing this? And like like I said, I'm hungry. Like pretty sure. Like, can you tell me in a few words why are we here? Why are you doing this?
You're hungry, right?
Yeah.
Go get something to eat. I'll tell you.
All right, let's talk about it over some burgers. That sounds good. Yeah, yeah.
Just you're gonna change your getup, right?
If you don't mind, Asher, I think I have some work to do back home.
You gonna learn how to make little hair out of gold?
Yeah. It's hard to tell what the past can teach you about what we can do now in the present.
That's awesome, Benjamin.
So the three of you step out of the chamber and into the changing rooms, back into your street clothes, out of this office, down the hall, and back into the office of the narrator. The head is already there. You get the feeling, there's no motion. This thing is absolutely static, and it's a hologram. But you get the feeling like it's looking at the artifacts that you brought back for just a moment. Then it stops. And the voice says, "You have done well. What have you learned?" Do you spill everything?
Oh yeah.
I talk, or I guess, considering how it's kind of my conversation with the queen, I leave the techniques out of the conversation.
That's one of the things I was wondering. Okay, absolutely. Edward, you look like you're thinking hard. What? I'll give you a minute to keep thinking then. Asher, what's your response to this?
I would tell everything I can about Damodis and say, we must make sure that this is recorded, that this is, remember that lecture hall you showed us? This needs to be talked about, and we need the students to know. Everybody, it needs to be added to history. And I show the narrator the head, and I say, these scrolls have her autobiography. Every word needs to be recorded and published.
Are you willing to give up the scrolls, that they might be found?
As long as you can promise me, narrator, that they will be found and the information widely spread.
They will be found and placed in the appropriate universities and places of knowledge and museums.
So Asher just kind of awkwardly is like, "Where do you want me to put this? You don't have any hands," but doesn't want to be rude.
Place them at the base of the dais, this little box that she's on. And you put them down at the bottom there. You still get to keep the head, which now has an empty drawer below it. But for the purposes of this, they're going to be, you get it explained to you, they're going to be taken away and buried in places where they will soon be discovered. And so that the story of Damodis will come to life, or to light.
Awesome.
You keep some secrets. Edward.
Pretty much just kind of mirrored what Asher said. And the rest, Edward was just going to keep to himself.
Absolutely. And at the end of your exposition, the narrator says, "You have done exceptionally well, and your employer has authorized a payment of 25,000 credits. Asher, my employer the employer has made a counter offer. If you were to earn 100,000 credits in total amount, this amount could be traded for a one-way trip."
One way. If I wanted to be a return trip, can I save up for 200,000?
There's a quick pause. 125.
That sounds like a fair deal, narrator. Thank you, and thank you to your employer.
So you each receive another 25,000 credits, which, as we said, 15,000 last week was enough to buy a small car. 25,000, we are up in, I mean, we're not supercar land yet, but we are talking very nice sort of high-end vehicle, or, you know, sort of a 5 years of your mortgage. You know, it's a significant amount of money.
Well,
And it is, again, completely untraceable. Just on these little chips, these little cards. And as you pick up those cards off the desk, the now familiar and expected question. What do you know about William Shakespeare? And that is where we will drop the curtain on tonight. Next week, you are going to go find out what happened to William Shakespeare. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is exactly what I wanted this series to be. Brainy and smart and technical and challenging and about creative problem solving and moral quandaries and all. It's a much more in your head campaign than out in a field beating stuff up. So I am very happy to say I chose wonderfully. I got 4 perfect people for this job. One of them just couldn't be here tonight. So, my favorite part of the night, the thank yous. Thank you so much to Villa Villas. You and I have played off and on for several years now, and it is always a pleasure. Every single time we play, you come up with something new and different. You're a joy to play with. Thank you. Oh, Nick, you are a busy, busy human being, and yet you still bring this character to life every week. There is this naive charm about Benjamin and this bullheadedness that came out tonight that I love. Like, no, I'm walking up the stream. You know it's not a good idea. I know it's not a good idea, but I'm walking up this stream. Right? So this a really nice character trait that came out. I'm looking forward to see how that gets you in trouble in the future. Tonight was only a river. And Tails, oh, a joy. I've only played with you a couple times. You always make me laugh, and that's not easy to do. I was a comedian for a very long time, and we get kind of inured to it. But you make me laugh every single time we play together. Thank you so much for becoming part of this group. And even though he's not here, I got to thank Saber too, because without them, I wouldn't have met you and the other wonderful people in your sort of subgroup, all of whom are now members of the Discord, all of whom are now going to be playing in these games. And so I am very, very lucky once again.
Thanks for creating such a welcoming, safe space to have all these welcoming us in, and for creating such a great game.
That is my goal. I have a couple things that I want to do. I want things to be I want a safe place. And it has never happened. No one has ever trolled this channel. And if they ever do, you're going to get to see me heckle respond. And you may never get the image out of your head. I am a brutal prick when somebody is mean to my friend. So fair warning to trolls, don't do it. But I want a friendly place for people to play. Everybody that wants to play gets to play here. So if you're watching this tonight and you think I want to play in one of these, this looked interesting, join the Discord. Let me know. Let us know. We will get you in the Friday night fun shots to start with. You don't have to have a camera. All you need is a mic I can hear. That is all I need. And we can take it from there. Other than that, I guess I should cover the technicals. Thursday night, we're doing an Ironsworn game, although that is technically currently on pause because we have an availability issue with one of our players. And when you're doing a 4-person cooperative storytell, you don't do it unless all 4 people are there. So they are technically temporarily on hold. Friday nights, we're doing our Friday fun shots, which are just out of control shenanigans. That's the only phrase that counts. This week was System Shutdown, lots of Grant Howitt games, and one of our wonderful people in chat sent me a new one today that I'd never seen, so we're going to be playing that in a couple of weeks too. And then Saturdays, we're doing Corsairs of the Cosmos, which is another very comical show. Space pirates, guns that go pew, 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 and bad decisions and lots of blaster fire. So watch that on Saturdays, and then tune in next Sunday to come back to this, where we find out what really happened with William Shakespeare. So thank you to everybody in chat and Twitch tonight, and thank you to everybody that's watching this in the future on YouTube. You're all amazing. Until next time, please be nice to each other. Bye.